welcome to your Mental Highness. I am Dr. Janae Lomaski, better known as Dr. J, and I am here for you, my royal listeners, to help you lift you up, feel empowered, feel inspired, maybe a little less anxious, a little less angry, a little less stressed, giving you as much love as I can, as much support as I can. And again, I am here for you. I've been through it. I know you're going through it, and we will get through it together. Well, for today on your Mental Highness, with that dose of psychopathology, I have a very, very special guest with me, and it happens to be my first guest on the show, and I'm so excited for you to get to know her and know that this special guest has been through it. So I know she looks amazing. She is beautiful inside and out, and she has been through it all. And you're going to hear a little bit today about what she's been through, how she's endured, and how she's persevered. And I'm excited to invite her on the show today. This is Michelle.
Hi, everybody. It's so great to be here.
But I do want to share what I wrote down some things when I thought about you, and I wrote down some things that truly just come up so easily, and you need to know them. So,
Okay.
when I was thinking about Michelle, I said, wow, she's such a special guest. And you're going to say, why is she such a special guest? Well, she's such a special guest. First of all, I've known her for almost 20 years. And
Long time.
What makes her so special is, number one, she has one of the most beautiful hearts that I've ever encountered in my life.
you.
And the most beautiful soul, literally filled with so much compassion and love and generosity. If more people were like this, we would have such a nice world to live in.
Well, it takes one to know one.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, she has a great sense of humor. I laugh from her. She is one of the wittiest people I know, and I enjoy her sense of humor so much, and you will too today, you'll see. And I love to laugh with her. And like I said, she's been through it. She's been through all major things that maybe you can relate to. And that's another reason why I wanted you to see her and how amazing she is and how much she has persevered and how resilient she is. She's had family issues with lots and lots of family dysfunction. She's gone through marital issues with ups and downs and twists and turns and shocks and surprises. And maybe you can relate. She's had medical diagnoses, including severe and chronic pain that people I know that have similar or same diagnoses don't even come out of the house. And wait till you hear what she actually does on a regular basis. She's had friendships that turned into painful ships. And the list just goes on. So this is a very special person, and I know that she will be an inspiration for you. And I'm excited to interview her and to ask her some questions so you get to know who this beautiful person is.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet.
Well, it's the way I feel. So, first, what I want to do today is, this is BYOC, Bring Your Own Crown. So and if you don't have one, I supply it for you. So today, Michelle brought her own crown.
That's right.
So I would love to see your crown and for you to put it on for me.
Okay. But you have to wear yours too.
I'm going to put mine on
Okay.
too. So today I have a whole bunch of crowns out here. These are, if you're not seeing, there's super crystals, a little bit of crystals with, what is that, some pink and purple. There is a really cheap one from Party City, and then I have the crystals that are
Stunning.
stunning.
All of them are stunning.
All of them are stunning.
But I want you to know that as soon as you started this show, which I love, and I haven't missed one episode, I hear it on Spotify. I listen to it on Spotify. I get notified.
Yeah, so follow, share, and like on Spotify.
I love it. And as soon as you told everybody about this show, and I knew about it, and everybody get a crown, I ordered my purple crown. Purple's my favorite color. So I got this on what I call Amazonian.
Wow.
Is it?
That
good?
is gorgeous. So Michelle's
Sit
crown
straight?
it is perfect on sitting on
Here's
top
my
of your
crown.
head. And I chose this one then for
Yes.
us today.
Oh.
Her crown is purple with these crystals, and it is super royal. So like I said, when you're on here,
Look at you.
You're gonna feel
You're
loyal.
stunning. Stunning.
we're just going to have a love fest
Yes,
on the show
I love
today.
her. That's it. Well, I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for you. Let's just start there.
Okay.
I owe a lot of who I am to you.
Yeah.
And where I've come from to where I am to you.
Wow.
Okay? So I'm so grateful.
Thank you. And we're going to get
Extremely
into
grateful.
that long history of 20 years, and you'll know why.
Yes, you will.
First question, though, that I have for you, because now that you're wearing your crown,
Okay.
I want to know, how does it take a minute? How does it feel to wear your crown? And what comes up for you? What does it mean to you? Just sit for a minute. You know, I talk about mindfulness. We do things and we just do them without being mindful. Actually feel that on your head. Take a look at it. And if you can watch us, you know, you can see the episode on YouTube, but if you go on Spotify or Apple, you can hear us. And what does it feel like?
I don't really even need to take a moment.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Because truth be told, I feel that I earned this crown.
Yeah.
I earned this crown on my head. I've come a long, long way.
Well, it suits you. And that is why I have you here as my first guest on my show. Because, yes, I wanted you to feel royal, to feel like the queen that you always have been. But we allow ourselves to get beat down and we forget that what's inside of us. And we have to lift us up, straighten that crown, and keep on walking.
Right.
So the crown looks amazing on you, and
As
I'm
does
glad
it you.
feels good. Thank you.
you.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm curious to hear an answer. What is your secret weapon that no one knows about?
Ooh. That's a great question. My secret weapon. I don't think people realize just how intuitive I really am. That's my secret weapon. I'm really, really intuitive.
So I know Michelle, and she will tell me stories about certain things, whether it be with friends or her history with family or in her relationships. And she will tell me everything that she already knew. She went through it, but her intuition is like, it's a superpower. It really is.
It's a superpower.
And if you want to know something, she can size someone up in a millisecond and be on point. So
And not necessarily bad sizing. Not in a, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, just I read people so well.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm so glad that you knew that that is just one of your many superpowers, but that your intuition, being intuitive the way you are, is very, very much your superpower.
Thank you.
So I want you to think about what your superpower is, because you have one. Everyone has one. Think about what your superpower is. And you know what? Don't be shy. Use it and validate yourself that you have that power. Okay. How about on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 meaning none at all, and 10 being the most, what number would you put on self-love?
Oh.
Now.
Yeah. Today?
Today.
9.5.
Beautiful. Now, tell me when that number was really low. How long ago would that be?
A year ago, it was pretty low.
Wow. So
a year ago, it was very low. And like, boom, something snapped.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is. Mm-hmm. Something changed drastically in my life. I made a decision. Mm-hmm. And I was able to love myself so much again because I lost myself. I lost myself for a very, very long time. And I found myself all over.
Yes, you did. Can you share a little bit about what that decision or commitment you made that made you turn on that switch?
I realized, and I knew for a long time I was in a very unhappy marriage, but I was stuck. I was really stuck, and I finally made the decision to get a divorce, and with that, and a lot of healing, I realized that I had to love me again.
I think that was when you chose you.
Yeah.
And knowing that you are the most important thing. And if you don't have the best relationship with yourself,
right,
then none of your relationships are going to be good.
Right. I've never not loved myself. I just didn't love my situation. And because of that, I was miserable. And you know that,
Yeah. And I
never,
think,
you understand.
And I think
right,
when we're unhappy,
right,
we don't care about self-love.
Right. There was so many things going on that I couldn't give myself the self-love that I needed and deserved. And
let me add that since you've made that decision to love yourself and get yourself out of an unhealthy marriage or an unhappy marriage, you have transformed yourself on so many levels.
So many levels. I'm a different person. I feel differently. 100%.
So do you want to say, well, one thing we can start with is I know that your body was different. You were taking care of your body differently. So how has that changed?
So actually, before I even did start divorce proceedings, I started on a Weight Watcher program. Actually, 4 months before I did start the self-love journey. And I have lost a tremendous amount of weight on Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers, my friends. No Ozempic.
Right. Doing it naturally.
none of that.
And I have seen a transformation. So before me is, Michelle.
And I didn't do any exercise.
Because
I don't like exercise.
She's saying she doesn't like exercise.
I can't do exercise because I have a lot of pain. So no. But I'm a size 6 now, okay? And I'm 5'10".
And what were you before? Would you share?
I was bigger than a 6.
Okay.
A lot bigger
than a 6. Absolutely.
We're not going to go into the size. It doesn't matter what the size was, but it was much bigger. Let's just say I lost over 80 pounds.
Okay.
And we're going to leave it at that.
Over 80 pounds.
That's a lot.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but let's just also say that I gained all that weight because of misery. So yeah, food was my drug of choice.
And that's what I was just going to ask you.
It was my drug of choice.
Right.
And I'm a great cook.
You are a great cook. I do know this.
Yes.
Actually, Michelle, I have to say, Michelle, when COVID was in full force, I would say, I got it. I was working a lot and seeing a lot of patients. I'm going to fix my crown. Actually, I'm going to switch crowns. I'm going to put on another crown for,
kicks and
shits just to see how that feels.
Shits and what? Kicks and giggles.
So
shits, kicks, and giggles.
Michelle was the first person. Remember I said she's so special because she's so compassionate and so considerate and so generous. Michelle made me, when I had COVID, I did not ask her, but Michelle insisted.
Called me up and said, I'm so sick as a dog. No, I'm kidding. She did it.
She said to me, I have made you a huge pot of matzo ball soup.
I'm Jewish. It's Jewish penicillin.
And I cannot begin to tell you, first of all, how I was so appreciative and thankful that she did it. But I'm also like a food snob. I am a foodie.
I know. And I didn't even know she kept kosher.
Exactly.
And I did not make it with a kosher chicken. I forgot.
But I have to tell you that her soup was
she ate
so fabulous.
She ate it.
She did the carrots and the celery, and you know when you're
parsnip.
not, you know when you're in the parsnip, you know when you're not feeling well,
and I put the love.
and you put the love.
That's the main
and
ingredient.
Someone makes you something. It's not just buying you, although I'll take it if someone buys you something you're not feeling good.
I don't never buy matzo ball soup. Never.
Making someone something. And if you don't have anyone that does that for you, I really hope you do find someone that will make you a meal or make you something when you're not feeling well, when you're feeling sick. It is such a warm and incredible feeling. It makes you feel loved, and that's what you did for me.
I love you.
Which was
how can I not? Look what you've done for me over the years.
Well, I'm so thankful.
I'm thankful for you, and you're welcome.
So
I would do it again.
We're going to get into more because there's more stuff that I've learned about you. And I
hope so.
You, my royal listeners, to know that when someone is faced with such grief, such pain, such limits, such obstacles, you can pull yourself up, lift yourself up, rally. You can still thrive. You can still be successful in life. And even when you never thought you could, there's always that opportunity to take and to be successful and to take care of yourself. But it does start with that commitment, like Michelle said, with self-love. You have to. None of this works if you don't decide that I'm going to love myself and take care of myself.
Right. So, I mean, I always took care of my appearance, if you will. I never left my house unkept or any of that. But I was so unhappy that I turned to food.
And I'm wondering, on my previous shows before, I talk about my internal dialogue or my commentary. I'm curious, what would you say was your internal dialogue or commentary or self-talk versus now? What is it? Do you notice a difference in how you... Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. Like I said, I don't even think like that anymore. I'm not that person. Don't get me wrong. My life still revolves around food because I meal prep now. Mm-hmm. In those, but healthy, always healthy. Mm-hmm. Never, oh my God, I'm so upset. What am I eating? Nothing like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And did you ever say to yourself, did you ever catch yourself speaking negatively to yourself before?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I do it now too. Oh, you're such an idiot. Why'd you do? But I don't. But it's silly, it's stupid stuff like that. But I know I'm not an idiot. But you catch yourself. But I know I'm not an idiot. Well, I know I'm just getting old, and I'm going in the kitchen and forgetting. But it's
But would you say that you notice that you're kinder to yourself?
Oh yes. Before? Oh, I absolutely. I joke with myself. I love myself.
Yeah, I've heard you say the difference that you are. I love me. Actually,
you've
just
never
recently,
heard me say that.
Said that,
right?
And I
said
was
it
so pleasantly surprised.
You were happily because the look on your face. You were so happy when I said that. Yes. I don't think you've ever heard me say that.
No, I have not.
Yeah, I really love myself.
And don't you think it's important? So
yes, it's so important to love yourself.
So you must.
If you don't love yourself, who's going to love you?
Right.
And you have to love yourself first.
But it's not easy, right? Self-love is not easy. We could say, but it's not easy. You just don't turn around and say, okay, I love myself. And that's it.
Because you do have flaws.
Yes.
I still have flaws. I mean, I have physical flaws, but that's nothing. That's nothing.
But with our flaws,
I'm still wonderful.
With our flaws, we're going to embrace and love ourselves.
Right. It doesn't negate from who I am.
Exactly.
Of course. And I know that.
Exactly.
Right. So you guys should know that.
That's right.
Okay.
So we're going to go on to, okay.
Do you need water?
I do.
Do you want a sip of mine?
I would love it. Thank you.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. So, I want to know, at any time in your life, did you feel love-starved?
Oh, my God. Of course. When I was a child. Very, very neglected. Yes. Very love-starved.
And when did you realize that you were love-starved?
At what age? Mm-hmm. I think around 9. I don't know. Maybe earlier even.
And do you remember what was happening for you that you were you knew that you were love-starved? Was there?
There was a lot of, there were a lot of issues in my family. There's a lot of dysfunction. My brother got all the attention, be it negative or positive, because he has a lot of mental issues. And when he was a child, my parents refused to recognize his mental limitations.
So then you were neglected.
Yes. And also there was so much fighting going on in the house. And then when my brother became a teenager and the things he did, and my parents enabled. And there was constant screaming, fighting, police at my house. And I stayed away from it. Mm-hmm. I stayed away, locked myself in the room, or went to friend's house. I felt something wasn't right.
Mm-hmm. And I know that there was so much instability in your upbringing, and there was so much fear, and there was so much chaos. And I've said to you over and over, I cannot believe how well you've done and how far you've come.
Well, that's because I wanted to get out. Mm-hmm. I wanted to get out, and I got out. Mm-hmm. I graduated high school a year early. I started college early, and ironically, I became a psych major, along with early education major. And when I started reading about psychology, I went to the head of the department and I said, I want to be tested. Test me. Give me every test there is. I mean, I really did. And they did. And I was adamant. And they gave me a lot of testing. And 2 weeks later, they gave me the results. The head of the department gave me the results. And he did say to me, you suffer from a lot of repression. And he said, why were you so adamant about being tested? What's going on? So I had to explain to him how I grew up, the dynamics that I grew up with. And he said to me, what you need is therapy. You need to be in therapy to break the patterns that you grew up with, so that if you should ever have children, you don't do the same things that you saw.
So that must have been a very profound moment in your life.
It was eye-opening. But I knew. I knew what I stemmed from. I knew there was sickness and illness, and I knew.
It reminds me, you said about testing. When I was in school, they had us do all the testing that, we would give eventually to our patients. So it was like the MMPI, which is the personality inventory. There's like the depression inventory. There's the anxiety inventory. The Rorschach.
I had that one too.
All of it.
I had it.
And I remember also thinking, I want to know what I have. I want to know.
Right, that's what I said.
What is wrong with
what do
me?
I have?
It has to be something.
Right.
Strangely enough, and I've talked about this before, or I did it on the Podpalooza, I talked about the only thing that came up for me was neuroses, that I was just neurotic.
Well, that's because we're Jewish. We're born this way.
We're just neurotic.
Jews are neurotic.
So, it's interesting because I really thought there could have been something else. And I think that it is so important, if you can, to get tested, especially personality testing, because we know that when we have certain personality issues, and I know because in your family there's some personality
my mother
disorders.
Right.
So in regards to that, we want to make sure like where we are and at least know that we're not really crazy.
No.
Okay.
Right.
That if you're living with someone who's a narcissist or who's borderline personality disorder or who's histrionic, and I know I'm saying a lot of names, but it's not easy for you to feel sane.
Right.
And I know that that's something that you did go through.
Right.
Having said that, what attachment style do you relate with best? And I'm going to tell you like a little bit what they are. So like secure is kind of what it says. A secure attachment style is, comfortable with intimacy and independence, trusting and able to form healthy relationships. I don't get many people that say that's them. Then there's the anxious, fear of abandonment. The anxious one is like craving, closeness, but often feeling insecure or needy. And then there's avoidance. Those are struggle with intimacy. Their values, independence, tend to distance themselves emotionally. And then there's my favorite, disorganized, which is also fearful avoidance. And that is where there's a mix of anxiety and avoidance, often resulting from trauma. And they crave connection but fears it at the same time. So it's the both. It's a double whammy. Mm-hmm. How would you describe your attachment style?
Now or before?
Before and then now.
Okay. I think before, the last one.
Disorganized.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Having avoidant and anxiety.
100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, what was the first one again?
Secure. Comfortable with intimacy and independence, trusting and able to form healthy relationships.
That one.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's amazing coming from where you have been with so much mistrust, with so much chaos, to be able to say, no, I have a secure attachment style now. And, our attachment styles change. I mean, my attachment style has changed depending on who I was dating at the time and what relationship I was in. So don't flip out or freak out if you say, oh my God, am I ever going to get to this or that? You will. It's all about working on yourself.
Right.
And, strengthening your sense of self.
Right.
And also making sure that you're committed to that self-love.
Right. Absolutely. I think once you go through something, mm-hmm. I think it's so much easier. It was for me. Mm-hmm. When you go through something, and come out of it, mm-hmm. That's it. It was easy. Mm-hmm. It was just easy.
So here's a question I have for you, because so many people are not there yet, right? Okay. Where you are, and they feel insecure. They feel they can't get out of a situation. And I don't know if I did this with you, but I am right now. I'm going to ask you, if you could be an animal, what's your spirit animal and why?
An elephant.
Okay.
An elephant.
Elephant is your spirit animal and why?
Well, I happen to love elephants. Okay. I love.
What do you love about them?
I just find them to be very lucky. Mm. I feel mm-hmm. that I'm very lucky. Yeah. Okay. I feel very lucky.
Well, I think there's even more. When you look at an elephant, what do you feel?
Well, not only that, they're very protective of their young. Mm-hmm. They are very protective. Uh-huh. Okay. They're also very strong, sturdy. There's so much.
That's a great spirit animal.
Right. They're strong. They're sturdy. They're protective. Mm-hmm. They're lucky. I mean, I'm just giving you the first part. There's a lot to an elephant. Okay. And, I mean, they may not be the prettiest animal, but that's okay.
Or some may feel they are,
right,
beautiful.
I mean, right. Some may think they are beautiful or whatever. I'm just saying, right. You just never know right.
So
for me, I love elephants.
So when you're not feeling your best, and this is what I say for all my royal listeners, and I too have a spirit animal, and that is a tiger. and I think I've shown it to you on my phone.
Yep.
I have it as my,
Yep.
my screensaver. And that is because I am sweet and I am kind and I am loving and I'm compassionate. But if you cross me and threaten me or want to hurt me, I will roar. And I will come out and I will assert myself in a way that lets you know that here is my boundary, which brings me to the next question.
Yes.
Your boundaries.
Oh, let's talk about boundaries.
Let's talk about boundaries. So do you have boundaries? And if so, can you give me an example of a time recently or in the past where you used your boundaries?
Well, let's start with I was raised without boundaries. Okay? Which, and then I learned about boundaries when I went to therapy in college. And then I went into a marriage and there was boundaries that weren't there either. That was very difficult. So boundaries are very important to me.
So without boundaries, you actually have no privacy. It's enmeshment. You're intruded upon or you're invaded upon.
Yes.
You don't get to just have your own space.
It is horrible if you don't have boundaries.
Right.
Horrible.
So boundaries are super, super important. And I think I've talked to you about this, we understand physical boundaries, right? So if there's a line between us right now, I can't cross it and you can't cross it because I say, okay, here's our boundary.
Right.
But what sometimes you may not understand is these personal boundaries, emotional and mental boundaries are so important.
Absolutely.
And before, when you didn't have them, it's like you're choking, like you can't even breathe.
Right. So there's a boundary that a person can cross that they should not cross if they're asking a question that should not be asked that doesn't concern them.
So you bring me to, no, it's not easy to just come up with boundaries, but you have to think about what your boundaries are. And sometimes a boundary doesn't come up until someone does something and you say, wait, that was a boundary.
Right.
So we don't expect people to be mind readers, but speak your boundaries.
Right. And if they don't know, then you need to let them know that's a boundary and you're crossing it.
So can you give an example of a boundary that you had to say, that's my boundary with someone or something?
Yes. Okay. I can give you an example of one that was, let's say, with my husband.
Okay.
Okay. We cohabitate.
Okay.
And if I'm, let's say, leaving the house on a Friday evening, and he'll say to me, oh, where are you going? No, that's a boundary that he should not be asking.
So what do you say?
I will say to him, out for the evening, and if he continues, with who? You are not to ask that. That is a boundary that you're crossing.
How does it feel to set a boundary?
Well, it feels good. It feels great.
And
however, the receiver, they have the issue. They may have the issue.
Absolutely.
So you have to be prepared how to handle that.
So in all relationships, when we don't have boundaries, when we lack boundaries, when we don't speak our truth, when we don't assert ourselves, they tend to take advantage.
Correct.
They tend to cross our boundaries. So it is so important, and I've said this only millions of times, to make sure that you have healthy boundaries and that you assert yourself and you let people know what's okay for you and what's not okay for you. And if they don't know, that's okay. You give them a moment and you go, well, now you know it's not okay.
Right.
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 So what about...
Absolutely.
What is your most... I'll ask you this. What is your most unhealthy coping mechanism you've used? And then what is your most healthy coping mechanism you use now?
My most unhealthy coping mechanism was food.
Okay.
That it was ice cream. Yeah. Probably ice cream. I love ice cream.
Yeah. And you can still love ice cream, but
no, you could still have it on Weight Watchers, by the way. You can allot for it in your points. You can, but anyway. It's allowed.
Now, what would you say, I want you to think about it, what is your healthiest coping mechanism you use now?
Mindful meditation. Gee, wonder where I got that from.
Did I drill that into you?
You did. I do that. Oh, and the breathing. Your breathing. Oh my God. 1, 2, and then out through in, and then out through the nose. Oh my God.
The one hand on the chest and one hand on the stomach.
That helps me tremendously.
Yeah.
That really does help. Yeah. Thank you for that. I love that one. When I'm like really anxious or whatever, or I have to take those deep breaths in, and that actually helps.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that one.
So isn't it great to have some coping mechanisms now that are healthy, that when you're feeling anxious or agitated or irritable, you can access those?
Yeah, those are great. Okay. Yes. And you know what else helps?
What helps?
Your voice is so soothing for me.
Well, then you can listen in any time or call in. I should have a 24/7
You really
line
should, because
where you can. Okay.
When I'm feeling like, there was a time I was so anxious. I had just gotten to a bad fight, and I put Your Voice on, and I was like, oh, yes, I was so peaceful right after that. So I thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And I really mean that. Like, you really got me out of a bad situation.
I remember someone saying, I remember that.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know if it was you or someone else was saying to me, like, when I'm stressed, you have this phrase you use when I do like meditations or mindfulness. And the phrase that I use is, you're calm and relaxed.
Yeah.
Calm and relaxed.
And it works.
And it quiets all the chatter.
Because the way you say it, it's so, yes, you are. I am calm. It penetrates.
Yes, absolutely.
You do. You penetrate.
Well, I'm happy to hear that you use those coping.
I do.
I'm really happy that she does.
I do.
I know you do. I'm happy to
you
hear it.
You have no
too.
idea what you've done for me. I should actually say something here.
Okay.
Okay, because it's important. I was in therapy in my marriage for a long time, but I was not with Dr. J. I had stopped seeing her. Bad Michelle. Something had happened, I think,
It was
insurance reasons. And so, to make a long story short, I went elsewhere. And I was put with somebody who was a social worker. And not that I'm knocking social workers, but for me and my needs and what I had going on with my childhood and the trauma, and I have PTSD, and I had from my childhood, and then the pain that I was also in, and the marriage with my stepkids and all that I was enduring, which I'm not going to get into it, but the social worker could not help me with all the issues. So I kind of wasted the years that I was with her. And then when it was getting really bad, I left her and went to a psychologist I think I had maybe 1 or 2 sessions with her, and right away, boom, boom, she knew exactly what to say, what to do. And then she went out on maternity leave. Okay? And as soon as she figured it out in 2 sessions with me and knew what the dynamics were and what was going on, I called you. And I said, oh my God, I just found out I have out-of-network benefits. Please take me back. Please just. You were like, let's go. And that's how this all
came back.
Right.
Yeah. And you did lots of work in therapy with blood, sweat, and tears to get you where you are right now. So you have to persevere, and you can't give up. When you're tired, you sleep. When you're sad, you cry. When you're mad, you scream. But you got to keep it up. Got to keep it up.
Thank you for everything.
You're welcome. So tell me, let's see, what would you say is the most significant decision you made in the past year?
I think the most significant decision I made in the past year was to divorce my husband. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it seems like it is suiting you because I have seen you become healthier, happier, and more successful.
Yeah.
So which superhero is your favorite and why? Which superhero would you say you are?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Superhero?
Yeah.
Well, I think I like Wonder Woman.
How come? What does that feel?
I like the invisible plane.
Oh, I didn't know. Does she have an invisible plane?
She does.
Oh, shit.
Wait, was
She has an
that the
invisible
Wonder
plane?
Woman have an
That's the
invisible?
Wonder-
Didn't she have an invisible
I know
plane?
she has some things that shoot out of her wrist.
She also
maybe
has
does she?
the rope.
Yeah.
That tells the truth.
Yes.
And you know how I hate liars.
You don't like liars.
No.
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 Oh no. So there you go. The rope and the invisible plane.
Okay.
I think she's the invisible plane lady.
I love that. I want
So
you
there
to
you go.
think about, my royal listeners, think about what superhero you like the most or who you identify with the
Same
most.
question.
For me, okay. Superhero, I like the Wonder Woman. I think I'm going to say, wow, superhero. Wonder Woman's a good one. I guess I would also say, who's the one that's, is it Catwoman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that she's, although is she bad or good?
I don't know. But
I don't
she's
know.
sexy.
But she's sexy.
And so are you.
And she, oh, thank you. Well, I like because she's sexy. I like the outfit.
Yeah.
But I like that she also has 9 lives.
Oh,
I
right.
like that she's resilient. I like that she can get kicked down, get her butt kicked, get up, and scratch her eyes out. I love that.
Right. She's a fighter.
She's a fighter.
Right.
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 Yes.
She's a fighter. Yep.
So I believe, and that's something that we're going to get to right now, because part of your journey, self-love, is about being a fighter for yourself.
Oh, I'm definitely a fighter.
And,
I know.
And you
but I'm not a
had to
Catwoman.
No, you may not. You're
No.
more of a Wonder Woman.
Right. And she fights.
She fights really
She
well,
definitely
too.
fights.
She has something she throws around, too, aside from, I don't know what it is.
I don't
or
remember.
Something.
We'll watch it.
Or something in
I'll-
the crown.
I'll find it.
Maybe does she have a crown?
She does. I think she does have a crown.
Okay.
Okay.
I knew I liked to curse the crown.
Okay.
But yes, okay, so you have to be a fighter to be able to push through, to persevere. You have to fight. Okay?
Yep.
It's a huge part of your personal journey. You have to fight for yourself. I'm not saying fight at anyone, but you have to fight for yourself. If you want to get somewhere, you can't just throw your hands up in the air and say, I'm done.
Well, you can say I'm done and then don't say it anymore and go back to what you're doing.
Well, I think you can take a break.
Right. Say,
I think-
oh my God, like I'm done, and then
but
not really be
not
done.
to really be
Right,
done.
right.
So
We're
I don't
just
like
saying
the,
it,
I'm
but
not
we don't really
done.
mean it.
I feel like I
Right.
could say I'm tired.
Right.
Maybe
Oh, yeah,
I need to take
right,
a nap.
Right.
Maybe I'm
okay,
hungry.
Better choice.
You
word.
know.
Right. Because
So-
I used to say it right.
Yeah, I'm done
Yeah,
is something we
you're right.
don't really
Get
want
rid
in
of
our
the I'm
vocabulary.
done.
Okay, good.
Right.
Okay.
And say,
I don't like the I'm done. I'm taking
a break. Much better.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm taking a
a
break.
break.
Yes.
I need a minute.
Yeah.
Go fuck
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes.
Something to that effect.
Exactly.
Right.
And then stand back up.
Right.
Okay?
You're right.
And get
I'm
ready
done
for the
sucks.
fight. Because
Get rid of
every
the I'm
day
done.
may feel like a fight for some people. And that's okay. But I understand you're getting tired. But yeah, fighting is going to get you finally where you want to be. You have to fight for it for yourself.
You're right. Right. God knows I fought.
Yes, you did.
I fought, and yeah.
and now look at you now.
Right.
You're in a better place than
Right.
you've been since I've known you.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep.
So I'm going to ask you another question here.
Okay.
And I want everyone to think about the questions as well. All my royal listeners, I hope you're answering in your minds what you would say to these questions. This is one of my favorite, and it is, what is your idea of a guilty pleasure?
Oh. Ooh. Well. Of a guilty pleasure. okay.
Do you not want to say it? Is it that guilty?
It's guilt and pleasure.
Okay.
All in
you
one.
You can say it all here. You're in your mental highness. It doesn't matter. You can say it.
It has to do with sex and hot fudge.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely, for me, it's more on the pleasure than the guilt.
Well, guilty is the hot fudge.
I guess you can count the points on Weight Watchers.
Well, I want a lot of the hot fudge.
A lot of the hot fudge.
Right,
so maybe use all your points.
Yeah. Although I'm really kind of done with my point. I'm just maintaining now. So, yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean,
know,
if you had
still,
to and if you are
hot
Weight Watchers.
fudge and sex. And you know what, guys? You take it where you want to go with it.
Okay. That is a guilty pleasure.
It is a guilty pleasure.
Okay. So, on that note, we're going to also think about, and this is because I always like to kind of...
And a bathtub.
Oh, is that another guilty pleasure? Is that
it's
with
all
the hot...
three.
Are you washing the hot fudge off in the bathtub? Okay.
Maybe I'm doing a little tongue action in the bathtub with the hot fudge. And
wow.
Yeah. Okay, but it has to be in a bathtub, so it's...
I'm feeling there's less guilt here as you're talking about it and more pleasure.
Okay.
Because it was a guilty pleasure.
No, because I'm telling you, there's a tub with hot fudge.
So is that the guilt?
That's the guilt.
Okay.
And then the pleasure is whatever goes on in that tub with the whoever's in it with me.
Okay, now we're really taking it.
And then that's all I'm going to say.
Okay, that's all you have to say.
Okay.
I got it.
All right. And do you all have it out there? Our royal
I
listeners.
hope everyone's listening.
Okay.
Royal
you know
listeners.
What? There's going to be a surge in hot fudge after this.
A surge in hot fudge bathtubs. I like that.
Okay.
What about describe a time when you laugh the hardest?
Besides
right
when
now
I'm with you
and in session?
Okay.
Anything that comes up where you laughed really hard?
Oh, wow. I laugh a lot when I'm with my two girlfriends and we're stoned.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
But we laugh all the time at.
So interesting. So when you're stoned, so is it you go on the street or do you have a medical card?
Oh no, I have medical marijuana. Oh no, street? What?
Oh, okay.
No. I have pain, and I'm on medical marijuana, and I and my girlfriends are actually on medical marijuana too.
Wow, that's like a good crew to hang out with.
Right. So there are times when, the three of us, but I haven't been with them, and my dad passed away. Yeah. So I have a lot going on, taking care of my mom right now. So I haven't gone out or been with my girlfriends in over a month. So I could use a good laugh with them, to be honest, right? But I can't right now. My life is a little bit on hold. So, but when I do get together with them, we smoke some and we laugh our asses off.
But even through times where there is grief, and I know you're going through it,
but I still laugh.
You must allow laughter in your life.
Oh, yeah.
I think what happens, so many of us get stuck in an emotion.
I'm not stuck.
Right.
But you're right. Listen to what she's about to say. Go ahead.
So many of us get stuck in an emotion when we're in something.
Right.
Whether it be anger, because we feel upset, deceived, whatever, or sadness, grief, and we get stuck and we forget there's other emotions. We forget there's other things we can be doing, like laughing, like connecting with people, like getting support. You must do that.
Right.
You must allow yourself to be unstuck. Otherwise, it does last longer than you'd like.
Right. Please don't stay there.
No.
Right. I didn't stay there.
No.
Right.
And what's happening now, I see, is you have a nice balance.
Right. I mean, although I'm not able to go out at night, but I'm still doing things.
Absolutely.
Right. So absolutely, I'm not stuck in that one place.
So I have one more thing that I want to ask you.
Because I'm
healthy now. But I have one more thing we didn't get to talk about that I really want to ask you about, that I know through knowing you, and yet I have not really observed it myself. But you have a talent. Can you say what your talent is?
I sing, and I used to be a karaoke host. Mm-hmm. That is But I have more talents. But that's the talent I believe you're talking about.
That is the talent I'm talking about. And I've always believed that was part of your therapy.
Oh my God,
that has been therapeutic.
But I still sing in my house and in my car.
Yeah.
I do.
Do you want to sing in here today?
I absolutely don't. Okay. Put on a song. No.
If we could,
you want me to
I
sing
would.
a cappella? Is that what you're asking me to do?
Sure, why not?
Oh my goodness.
Take a sip and just
row, row, row your boat.
I love that.
I'm just kidding. What do you want to hear?
Whatever you want to sing.
Oh, wow. Put me on the spot, why don't you?
What are you passionate about? What song moves you?
Right now, anything that has to do with I have to use the ladies' room. I just drank a ton of water. Nothing's coming to mind because you're like, put me on the spot.
I don't want to put you on the spot.
You did. And if you had some, I'd single. But
so what I think we're going to do is I'm going to have you back on my show, Your Mental Highness.
Oh, I love to be on your show.
And we're going to open up with you.
I'll sing.
Singing something that just gives you that feeling of Wonder Woman, that gives you that feeling of inspiration and motivation.
Woman, hear me roar. Okay, yeah. There you go.
There you go. Okay, bravo. Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on my show today and being my first guest and talking about real life, real stressors, real grief, real tragedy, real trauma, real anxiety, real weight issues, real pain issues.
Because I'm real.
Because you're real, right?
And we all have issues
real.
And we all go through stuff.
Right. But how you were able to work through them and endure and persevere and thrive. So I just wanted you to be here so we can together motivate other people to know that whatever you're going through, you can become successful. You can be resilient. You don't need to always be in pain, whether it's physical or emotional, and that you're going to put on your crown. And if you haven't got a crown yet, can you please buy a crown and put it on? Because your crown chakra just feels so good.
Oh my God, I don't want to take it off.
It feels
I think
so
I'm going to drive home with my crown on.
I think we should wear crowns all the time.
Why
so
don't we
know to stand up straight, feel royal, and have that sensation of you are number one. You have to be number one to yourself. Otherwise, how are you going to be number one to anyone else? So thank you for listening today. Please follow, share, like Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you like to listen to your podcast. And come back and listen again to Your Mental Highness. I'm here again with Michelle today, and we are just saying thank you for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.